Namaskar and welcome to Express News. Let's begin with the national news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed the Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi on Tuesday. Prime Minister Modi and the Philippines President held comprehensive discussions aimed at further cementing the enduring friendship and strong bilateral relations. PM Narendra Modi also held delegation-level talks with President Marcos of the Philippines, and the leaders discussed various aspects of boosting India-Philippines ties in a host of sectors. Prime Minister Modi, along with the Philippines President, witnessed the exchange of several MOUs in defense, digital technology, space, maritime cooperation, tourism and cultural exchange. Addressing a joint press meeting with President Marcos, Prime Minister Modi said that India and the Philippines have elevated their ties to a strategic partnership. The President of the Philippines also acknowledged India's contribution to making the Indo-Pacific a free and open region. PM Modi and President Marcos Jr. of the Philippines jointly launched commemorative stamps. Philippines President Marcos Jr., who is on a 5-day visit to India, was earlier welcomed with a guard of honor and also accorded a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The visiting President Marcos Jr. reaffirmed the alliance and the partnership that the two nations share in strengthening the bond. The leader also said that the Indo-Pacific is a correct evolution of Asia-Pacific. President Marcos Jr. also paid his tributes to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat by laying a wreath at the memorial of Mahatma Gandhi on Tuesday morning. India's Ministry of External Affairs held a special briefing on the state visit of the President of the Philippines to India, sharing highlights of the engagements with Prime Minister Modi. The Indian government has strongly hit back at the United States after President Trump threatened to substantially raise tariffs on goods from India over its purchase of Russian oil. The National Democratic Alliance Parliamentary Party meeting was held in New Delhi on Tuesday and was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with top NDA leaders. The resolution was passed unanimously by the NDA MPs on the success of Operation Sindoor and Operation Mahadev. During the ongoing monsoon session of Parliament, the Lok Sabha, or the lower house, passed the readjustment of representation of scheduled tribes in assembly constituencies of the state of Goa Bill 2024 on Tuesday. The Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house of Parliament, on Tuesday adopted the resolution to extend President's rule in Manipur for 6 months with effect from the 13th of August 2025. The leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, JP Nadda, he said that there are different methods of disturbance, and he termed the ruckus not as a disturbance but as anarchy. 6 years ago, on August 5 in 2019, the Government of India revoked Article 370, ending the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. The encounter in the Akhal Forest area of Devsar in Jammu and Kashmir's Kulgam district entered its 5th day on Tuesday. So far, 3 terrorists have been killed and 3 soldiers injured. The Chief of Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, inaugurated Agni Sodh, which is the Indian Army's research cell at the IIT Madras. 5 years ago, on August 5, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone for the construction of the Ram Temple at the Ram Janmabhoomi in Ayodhya. Moving on to some business news now, and the Indian equity indices showed mixed signals on Tuesday. At close, the Nifty declined by 73 points to trade at 24,649. The Sensex closed at 80,710. The Indian rupee depreciated 14 paise to 87.80 against the US dollar on Tuesday. Gold futures maturing on October 3 were priced at 100,919 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for September 5 maturity stood at 112,490 per kilogram on the MCX. A recent SBI research report warned that US President Trump's proposed tariffs on India could harm the US's economy more than India's. The research report released on Friday predicted higher US inflation, a weaker dollar, and GDP decline, labeling the tariffs a bad business decision. Global crude oil prices traded higher on Monday. Brent crude was trading at $69.48 per barrel. Japan has signed a defense deal with Australia on Tuesday. Australia has agreed to sign a $6.5 billion frigate contract with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries of Japan. The Saudi Aramco company has reported a 22% decline in net profit for the second quarter of 2025. The company registered a net income of $22 billion compared to $29 billion in the same period of 2025. Now, the Wall Street's main indices, they opened high on Monday after a major pullback in the previous session. The S&P 500 rose 33 points and the Nasdaq rose 203.8 points. News related to international affairs now, and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he said on Monday that he would convene his security cabinet this week to discuss how to instruct his army to meet his goals in Gaza. Canada on delivered humanitarian assistance through airdrops to Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli military agency on Tuesday said that Israel will allow gradual and controlled entry of goods to Gaza through local merchants. The United Nations Security Council will hold a special session on Tuesday to discuss the 50 hostages still held by Hamas in Gaza. Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for launching a Palestine II hypersonic ballistic missile at Israel's Ben Gurion airport. Finland's President Alexander Stubb held a phone call with the US President Donald Trump to discuss Russia-Ukraine conflict and supporting efforts for an immediate ceasefire. The US Ambassador to NATO, Matthew Whitaker, said that he expects more nations to fund US arms for Ukraine following the Netherlands' announcement of 500 million euros to the scheme. One person was killed and 10 people injured in Russia's largest air attack on the Ukrainian town of Lozovo. This happened on Tuesday since the conflict began. President Volodymyr Zelensky praised the efforts of Ukraine's emergency services in response to Russia's missile strike on Kiev on Thursday last week. The European Union will suspend 2 packages of planned countermeasures against the United States' tariffs for 6 months following a deal with the US. Delegations of over 190 countries will meet at the United Nations in Geneva on Tuesday as talks resume on a global treaty to curb plastic pollution. The UN Environmental Programme Chief Inger Anderson stressed the urgency of reaching a meaningful deal, warning of a catastrophic impact of plastic pollution, especially on marine ecosystems. Brazil's Supreme Court on Monday issued a house arrest order for former President Jair Bolsonaro, who is standing trial for allegedly plotting a coup. The United States condemned a decision by Brazil's Supreme Court to put the former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro under house arrest. The United States and Rwanda have agreed for the African country to accept up to 250 migrants deported from the United States as President Trump's administration takes a hardline approach towards immigration. A fire beneath a commuter train at Newport Station in Jersey City disrupted rush hour service along several lines in New Jersey on Tuesday. In Chile, family members and friends of miners who had lost their lives in the recent El Tenientian mine collapse gathered to bid farewell to the victims. The Chilean President Gabriel Boric also vowed justice for the miners, and in fact he said that rescue work had been completed and now it's focusing on the cause of the incident. Authorities in Mexico have reported the discovery of human remains belonging to 32 individuals in an abandoned residence located in Irapuato on Tuesday. Preparations are underway in Japan to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The ceremony is scheduled at Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park. The Russian and Chinese navies carried out joint search and rescue exercises titled Maritime Interaction 2025 on Tuesday. News on the weather front. Heavy rains lashed India's hill state of Uttarakhand on Tuesday. The Met Department had issued an orange alert for the 7 districts of the state. All schools will remain closed on Tuesday in Dehradun, Pauri, also Theri, Nainital, Champawat, Udham Singh Nagar and Bageshwar districts. In view of the heavy rain warning, the district administrations of Uttarakhand have been put on high alert with disaster response teams and local authorities monitoring the situation closely. Heavy rainfall continues in Himachal Pradesh on Tuesday. Several districts on high alert as rivers and streams across the state swell dangerously. Flash floods and landslides have disrupted normal life, particularly in Chamba, Kullu, Mandi and Sirmaur districts. Residents have been urged to exercise extreme caution. In Himachal Pradesh, the Met Department has predicted more intense rainfall over the next 48 hours, warning of possible cloudbursts in hilly terrain. Disaster management teams and local administrations are on standby, ready to evacuate residents from vulnerable zones if needed. Amid widespread flooding in several parts of Uttar Pradesh, the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath provided relief to over 170 to 100,000 people who've been affected by the floods. District magistrates are closely monitoring the flood-affected areas. 14 teams of NDRF, 15 of SDRF and 48 of PAC have been deployed for preparedness. Chinese authorities evacuated over 82,000 people across Beijing at risk from heavy rainfall. Authorities warned of flooding risks in the northwestern and southwestern region. The Municipal Weather Service announced a red alert as floods in Beijing's northern suburbs killed at least 44 people. Torrential storms swept through parts of Kosovo on Monday, flooding roads and leaving vehicles stranded in several regions. Torrential storms damaged the electricity network, leaving a large number of people without electricity, especially in the Anamorova region. 17 heat records were broken in Japan on Monday after the country sweltered through its hottest June and July. A huge wildfire endangered numerous residences in Central California after harming at least 3 individuals as it ripped through Los Pardes National Forest. The wildfire originated from at least 4 smaller fires that ignited on Friday between Santa Maria and Bakersfield. The fire threatened approximately 450 structures in Santa Maria. More than 1,000 firefighters were battling the blaze from the ground and the air in California. Now, Weather Service had warned that Southern California will face elevated fire danger in the coming week. A tornado hit near a geopark in China's Inner Mongolia region on Monday, sending debris flying near the long funnel cloud. No casualties were reported. Blackened skies unleashed torrential rains. This is on Hong Kong and the high-tech cities surrounding South China's Pearl River Delta on Tuesday. Hong Kong authorities issued the highest warning black rainstorm on Tuesday as 3.5 inches of rain per hour continued to drench the city. Lake Ohrid, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in North Macedonia, has faced degradation due to climate change. A traditional Japanese archery event took place in Nikko, north of Tokyo, to honor a legendary archer and feudal warrior. Iraqis turned to solar panels for roofs and farmlands as part of efforts to reduce electricity bills and opting for clean energy. Van Lake Basin in Turkey once again became a lively stopover for flamingos, turning the region into a visual feast, especially at sunset. Hazelnut harvest has begun in the coastal region of Ordu province of Turkey, known as the green gold of the Black Sea. Hazelnuts are a vital part of the local economy. Entertainment news now, and Malaysian Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh launched the English dub of the highest grossing film of the year, Nisha Il. And the singer Jessie James Decker is all set, in fact, to make her acting debut, and this is with The Christmas Ring. This film is set for release in theatres on November 6th. The internationally famed Grammy Award winner Ricky Cage has released a spiritual song, We Are One, to mark his 44th birthday on Tuesday. Mahavatar Narsimha became India's first animated film to cross 100 crore mark, surpassing Hollywood blockbusters like Spider-Man and Kung Fu Panda. Hollywood director Spike Lee and actor Denzel Washington reunited after 20 years for the film Highest to Lowest. Highest to as in two number. The trailer of a crime thriller movie released on Monday. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami unveiled a poster of a new movie, Bulaya Khaka, and this features the Bollywood actor Hemant Pandey in the lead. The Malayalam actor Shanavas, the son of the legendary star Prem Nazir, passed away at 71. He was suffering from kidney-related ailments. After a successful theatrical run, the romantic drama Oho Ethan Baby is now set for OTT release. The film will be available on Netflix August 8th onwards. And pop sensation Lady Gaga will also launch a brand new song. It's titled Dead Dance in the upcoming Netflix series Wednesday Season 2. The sports entertainment reality show American Ninja Warrior has been renewed for the season 18 by NBC. Okay, let's get to the sports news now. And the Indian skipper Shubman Gill hailed Test cricket as the most rewarding and satisfying format of the game after his side drew the series against England. And England's captain Ben Stokes lauded India's efforts and admitted that a draw is a fair outcome of such a compelling five-match Test series. The International Cricket Council has cleared Ireland spinner Amy Maguire. This is to resume bowling in international cricket with immediate effect. Olympic bronze medalist Aman Sherawat and Antim Panghal, they headline the Indian squad for the World Wrestling Championships in Croatia in September. The US President Donald Trump will sign an executive order to create an Olympics task force to handle security and other issues related to the 2028 Olympic Games. The 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic has withdrawn from the Cincinnati Open for the second consecutive year. Former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina and teenager Victoria Mboka, they have advanced to the semi-finals of the Canadian Open. Rybakina reached the semi-finals after her quarter-final opponent Marta Kostyuk retired in the second set with a wrist injury. Meanwhile, Mboko, she reached a surprising straight set victory over Spain's Jessica Mineiro. This happened and then she reached her first WTA semi-final. In the Canadian Open men's semi-final, Germany's Alexander Zverev will face Karen Khachanov. Zverev reached his 21st Masters semi-final by defeating the defending champion Alexei Popyrin in the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Karen Khachanov advanced to the semi-finals for the third time following a win against Alex Michelson. India's R. Vaishali suffered in the Women's Speed Chess Championship 2025 after losing to America's Alice Lee in the opening round, and she was eliminated. India's Grandmaster Divya Deshmukh faces the Chinese Grandmaster Li Tinchi in the first round clash on August 11. The Czech international Pavel Sulk has signed a 4-year deal with the French club Lyon from Victoria Plens for $8.6 million. Well, that's all we have in Express News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
Welcome to DDA